Hello HEMA friends and welcome to this new video. Today I want to share with you the interview with Arto Fama held 2 months ago in the beautiful setting of the Sacro Monte di Vallallo, here in my valley. So enjoy. So I would say start with, as we said before, because we were planning a bit, of course, your experience, your HEMA experience, how, or better, your sword fighting experience, how you approached sword fighting, how you started and where you are going, basically.
So I started about 15 years ago now, in 2005. We started out with wooden swords and some gloves, trying to figure out how this German martial arts, the longsword, worked, and doing exercises to get familiar with moving with the sword and training with that. But we did not use fancy masks yet, so we didn't really hit each other in the head.
Yeah.
Almost no protection, so we didn't thrust a lot.
Yes.
We tried to slowly understand how the text worked in situations with something that looks like a sword.
Okay. Okay.
From there on out, slowly it evolved into use of steel swords, reading more and more texts and more different interpretations of Lichtenauer and Ringek. And over the next 5 years, I tried to understand more and more about the actual content of certain manuals. I started teaching more and more, and in 2010 went to the HEMA for the first time, which for me was a really eye-opening experience.
Yes.
Because all of a sudden I got to know so much about the richness of the entire cultural heritage. So many different weapon sets, so many disciplines, so many different views of people.
Yeah.
Participating in workshops over there, participating in the tournament, truly broadened my horizon a lot.
Yeah.
And from there on out, it just got worse and worse and worse. Because after Dijon, I went to the Arts of Mars event in Germany, and then to more events, culminating into teaching abroad for the first time in 2012. Well, I was invited to teach in HEMA, and then the week prior to that, Aldo Olario sent me a message. Hey, one of our instructors has fallen away. Could you substitute? Well, tomorrow. So I booked a last-minute ticket and flew to Spain to teach the same workshop I would teach in Slovenia the next week. And that was a marvelous experience. Just meeting lots and lots of friendly new people and being exposed to different styles of fencing.
Yeah.
That particular experience, really getting to know someone in a very short frame of time, that really took me. It has always fascinated me to connect with someone just by fencing.
Yeah. Yes.
Just by sparring a bit or training together, and I wanted more.
Yeah.
So started to go to more events. I was allowed to teach at several other events, and from this, the overall HEMA experience just kept growing.
Yeah. Yes.
We started to dig deeper into the source material, trying to find out if there was a deeper underlying system, or if at least I could order it in such a way that the approach would work for everyone. It's one of the things that I really like to do in teaching.
Yes.
Is let someone explore and discover new possibilities and find out for themselves that they can actually do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if there would be a system to connect everything towards, then someone could finally figure out that all these loose techniques or motions that they do are actually all together, they're all integrated in a whole.
Which is also partially what we have done in our private training in the past day. Yeah. Yeah. We worked on this side. That was, by the way, pretty interesting. So thank you.
You're most welcome. It was a pleasure. It truly is a pleasure to see how you developed your system and how I developed my system. That our line of thinking is completely similar. We have a very similar point of view on how all aspects of a certain manual represent different parts, different components of the system.
Yes.
And if you try to explore all of it, you get a better overall view, a better picture. Basically.
I agree.
And it was really interesting to see our slightly different systems that were based on a very similar fundament. Because we want to achieve the same thing, we want to do it in the way that works best for either you or me.
Yes.
But the way we found out that it works best is quite different.
Yeah.
My experience.
And we have also seen it in Sparring, which was even cooler because we had more way to compare the actual outcome of our systems in action. And you will probably see the Sparring video attached to this video. Probably I have already published it. I still don't know. I have to do everything. So okay, so let's keep going around here. So I can ask you another question. Is okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. So the second question I want to ask you is about your system of training, which we have explored in these days. But I want to talk to my viewers, my little community, about what you teach, how you teach it, what's your preferences.
Well, as we explored together over the past couple of days, I think it is very sensible to have a systematic approach to specifically the German longsword. In the past couple of years I've dug into primary the glossa of second Ringek, and later on more into the sort of Danzig manuals and the early Lichtenauer sources, basically. And to me, exploring that, it became more and more evident that certain movements are connected to other movements, and it was possible to simplify. It was possible to take away certain thoughts or patterns by combining different pieces, specifically different Stücke in exercises. The overall idea is to keep everything as simple, as efficient as possible, and to limit the amount of choices you have, because the more choices you have and need to make during the fight, the more difficult it becomes.
It's interesting because I had like this. I started also this period of my fencing life, like 1.5, 2 years ago, when I started to say myself, well, I have to simplify stuff. And also Fiore helped me a lot, which is cool because we have very similar views of thought.
Would you say different starting points, but we develop the same point of view?
Exactly. Which is very cool. But sorry, keep
going.
No,
it was highly interesting to see that, because you building your work from Fiore de Liberi, and I took it from more of the first set of German glossa, that we both developed into the point of, if I can make things simple and easier, the whole experience of fighting will become less difficult. It is my firm belief, so I do not hold it to be the truth, but I think that if you can limit yourself to do just a few motions, you can learn to do them well. I believe that Fiore speaks about you can learn maybe 3 different postas. If you are really good, then add another, but create a comfort zone of a few core aspects. What I try to do is combine the different techniques and view them as representations of possibilities.
Yeah.
In those, conditions are mentioned. If, then. If someone strikes at you from above, you can break this with twaal, for instance. Do it like thus. If you look at all these different conditions, some of them reoccur, some of them do not. So I thought, hey, this might mean that some of these conditions are very specific, very situation specific, or very much bound to one particular concept. Others constantly reoccur or are mentioned again later on in a formulation of, I've told you this before, if you encounter this same situation with this particular technique, do thus.
Yes.
I've already told you this, you know this. If you've bound the blade strongly with the long edge, make sure you threaten the next opening with a point and do whatever you need to do. So it feels like the glossa present a system, a manner of fighting, a way of moving and actually viewing the fight that allows you to explore different options and not pick from those what your favorites are, but allow yourself to be prepared for any given circumstance, because it will be either connected more to one particular technique or more to another particular technique. And if you limit the amount of options, the amount of movements that you do, this grants you more time to observe and relax. As we were trying to train yesterday.
Yes.
To make sure that you just initiate an action, relax, and in that particular moment, observe the action of your opponent, respond to it, and then let the body allow to kick in with a certain reflex. Motion, or like you say, pattern. That has already been trained and developed. Let it happen. Because I think the brain is really good at planning in a moment of crisis. All we need to do is observe the threat, acknowledge it, and then let our body survive.
It's true.
If we manage to do that, if we can manage to get our mind in a quite open state and the body in a slightly tense but still relaxed fashion, then it can do what it's good at. But on the other hand, if we try to guide it very consciously, it is very easy to disrupt our own technique, because we try to doubt it halfway through and think it's not good enough, so we need to change to a different angle or a different guard or a different position.
I know the thing.
You know the feeling now. So what I try to do is decide and figure out which positions or structures are the ones that I can connect everything to. So if you have the lange noord, the vier hengen, and the strikes in between the different guards, that encompasses all the possibilities, most of the possibilities, and the rest will be related closely to one or the other. So learning those different options gives you the possibility to figure out how you do your strike specifically. What the most optimal form is for your particular strike, thrust, or wrestling action. So you can do that particular action at any given moment, any given time.
I understand. But you have done a very, very fine and complete. You have shown a view which is very complete of your system. Which thank you.
Good.
So let's
move
on and keep travel around here, and we will talk a little bit more about something.
Great.
So Arto, the next question I want to ask you is about the HEMA environment. So how it is developing right now, which choices the people is making, how you see different people taking different path or making different decisions for or training or objectives. So what's your feeling about this thing? So what do you think about it?
I think that currently the greatest dividing factor is, for the HEMA scene as it is now, tournaments or no tournaments.
Okay.
Either participating in tournaments at all or not at all, because there's a certain amount of clubs worldwide that consider tournament participation not the goal they want.
Yeah.
So they will get together, train, either more scholastic or more academic or more physical. It depends a lot on what people want to get out of it. Some people take a sport approach, as in they want a recreative sport activity.
Yes.
So they want to get fit, enjoy a nice social situation and encounter with other people, and play with swords. There's different people that want to learn more about the history of swordsmanship and be able to apply this historical martial arts in a practical context.
Yes.
Usually this practical context means either sparring or a more competitive environment.
Yeah.
Luckily, not a lot of duels to blood or death with sharp weapons.
Luckily, yes.
Yeah, that would slim down the HEMA community dramatically.
It can be a problem, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that is a dividing factor. And then on tournament participation as well, because there's certain clubs that work more towards how would I use the techniques I have, the skills I have to achieve a good result in a tournament based on points or prizes. And there's a certain amount of people that want to simply test what they do in a competitive environment, don't care about the medal because they just want to grow.
Yes.
And there's everything in between.
Yeah. I agree, because, for example, for me, and I think we are almost the same on this, like, tournament is a training tool to improve. So it's not like the goal itself. So like I don't really look for the medal, for example. If I won the medal, I am happy, of course, because I think everyone is happy when won a medal, win a medal. But it's not what I am searching at the very beginning. So I try to do every fight the best as I can, and that's it. So is the same as your view about the tournament, or you approach it in a slightly different way?
As you said, we really agree on the fact that tournaments and a competitive environment is a great testing ground.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a field test for the way you use your system and are able to apply the different skills and techniques that you train.
Yes.
So for me, it's the way to validate my system. Is my belief working?
Yeah.
Or can I encounter someone, be exposed to a different style of fencing that tells me that my system is either incomplete or not as efficient as it could be?
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I really try to reach the same goal as you, which is explore and learn and then improve from the tournament.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like a medal is sort of a bribe.
Okay.
We ran out of opponents, so please take this piece of shiny metal and go home. There's no more fights to do today.
Okay. Yeah.
Because with most of the regular pool and elimination phase setups, it means that the more you win, the more fights you get.
Yeah.
So the more testing you get done, and that is actually what you need to be able to fight the next opponent.
Yeah. It's true. I like this point of view.
I don't see scoring or winning a medal as the supreme result of a successful system, but it is a way to figure out what is going on, because if on that particular day you're able to best the opponents that you faced, it doesn't even have to make you the best sword fighter in the room. It just means that you had a better result overall against this field on that particular day.
Okay.
I always try to view it like that losing a match in a tournament is great, because it means that a particular opponent found something to exploit and beat me on that day.
Yeah.
Meaning that there's something I can improve and try to find out if I can do better on a different day.
Okay, I am with you, and I agree at basically 100% with what you said. What you think about, sometimes you face an opponent which is basically using the rules, okay, so to win, which is, to be honest, I can say is a bad idea, because if your goal is winning the tournament at any cost, you can even use the trick that the rule set can make you able to use to win. But
Yes.
I am not this kind, like for example, I'm not this kind of guy, so I can't really use the tournament rules in a way, in a specific way, using a specific trick which the tournaments make me able to use. So I
Yes.
prefer to fence in the way which I fence generally,
Yeah.
to test myself. So are you of the same idea? So you just prefer to fight your own way in whatever situation, use your tools, and not be more like, okay, the rules set permit this, this and that, I can like do this, but there's nothing, it's not something which I really do, like, I don't know, tapping someone with the flat here, like very fast or whatever. You're the kind of person that prefer to use this kind of, let's say, tricks, but it's not a trick, okay, but is using the rules, or you prefer to not pay too much attention to the rules, so just, okay, I fight in the way that I know, and that's it.
In short, yes.
Okay.
Less short. I think that the rule set should be there mostly to create a safe environment in which you can have a competitive challenge, in which you can figure out who is the better fighter on that particular moment under those given conditions.
Yeah.
So for me, what works best is consistency.
Okay.
The only way to achieve consistency is always fight in the way that I believe works.
Yes.
So I will always try to fight in a way that allows me a higher chance of being safe,
Okay.
and then hit the opponent whenever the situation occurs. So this will result in me trying to threaten a deep target and protect myself while doing so.
Yeah.
Even if a rule set, let's say, would allow a hit to end the fight and thus keep me safe. Because if I hit you and the referee yells stop, I have to pay less attention in this set of rules to be safe after this hit. So to use your example, I could be more reckless under that rule set in order to achieve the goal of hitting without getting hit in return.
Okay.
This kind of adaptation is difficult for me because it would be move away from the core aspects that I think make my system work.
Yeah.
So in order to fight well, what I try to do is make the right decision as often as possible. I will mess it up a lot of times. As long as I mess it up a little bit less, the fighting improves.
Yeah. Yes.
And under any given rule set, if I manage to hit you in the head or thrust you in the torso, and you do not do that to me, usually I win.
Yes.
So as long as I keep myself safe and threaten you, the chances of winning, beating, or dominating the fight increases.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's all I want to do.
Yes, it makes sense, and yeah, I like the answer. It's very, it's a very intelligent answer to this question.
Thank you.
And I will say, I will add one thing, which to this question, which is sometimes, for example, I go to different tournaments, different rule sets.
Yeah.
Sometimes you like see people which count as a point a very soft tap. Sometimes people count as a point a very strong tap, strong hit. And some people just count everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So how you manage to like apply your system in this different environment? So
Yeah.
how can you deal to, oh, stop, the fight is ended, and say, oh, what? It was nothing. So in general, how you manage this problem, let's say?
Make sure that the goal is the same every single time. I do not want to get hit, and in the end present a threat that will actually contact with you.
Yeah.
So as long as I try to prevent you from doing whatever it is you want to do, if every single action I do is meant to disrupt your movement, then this will decrease the chances of getting hit.
Yeah.
And then it does not matter if this hit is either a light hit, or a strong hit, or a tap with a flat, or a proper edge strike, or a thrust. If it doesn't connect, it cannot be judged and seen.
Yes, it's true.
Because there's no hit. So the only way to be safe in any given rule set is to get hit less. That's what I try to achieve. I try to achieve a dominant situation from which I can hit. I try to win the fight and then land and connect.
Yes, yes.
One of the solutions that I came up with to deal with a set of circumstances in which the type of hit that was judged and deemed right did not connect with what I was able to do or what I felt comfortable with, was closing in and make it completely inevitable to make sure that every single person involved in the fight knew, this is the outcome and it's undeniably clear that this is the result. One of the things is disarming the opponent.
Yeah.
Because if wrestling happens, it's easy to get incredibly messy.
Yeah.
And if wrestling happens, it becomes messy, and then one person has both weapons and the other person doesn't, and there's no longer a wrestling situation. The outcome is clear.
Yeah.
There can be no mistake.
Yeah. This is why
that's what I try to do.
Yeah, I see. I have seen a lot of videos and you do a lot of different designs, and really cool one also, by the way. And well, the last thing maybe about the disarms is you arrived to this conclusion of I want to train different ways to disarm the opponent, or arrive to this situation mainly because of this concept that you just explained. So I want in the tournament environment to show that I have dominance of the fight and the situation.
Mostly, not completely. It is not the way to win a tournament, it is the way to win a fight.
Yeah.
And I think that the wrestling that is being described either within a long-sword system or next to it shows that wrestling is a really important part of the whole martial arts that we now use in the current HEMA setting.
I agree.
So I think that if you're able to do this, it is possible to get a really clear outcome in the fight. If the opponent doesn't have a sword, the chances of you getting hit with said sword is very slim. Yeah. So I think it's one of the outcomes you can look for in a fight, because it's very definitive.
Yeah. Yes.
And it also happened to be a very definitive answer to a problem I faced and encountered in the tournament.
Yeah.
So it was something that came up during research, and that happened to be happened to have a really nice application in this test field of tournament fighting.
Yeah. Yes.
It's not just the result of fighting in a tournament and thinking, this is the only way to win, or the best way to win.
Yes. Yes. It's I like the answer, and you are right. It's a way to end the fight.
Yeah.
Which is the most important thing.
Yes, to make sure that this opponent that wants to hit you with a sword can no longer do so. I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's a hit that allows the referee to yell stop, or you create a situation in which the opponent is granted the time to yield and surrender.
Yeah.
Because let's say you would more or try to simulate a more duel-like context, or a more fight in earnest.
Yeah.
Then dominating the fight, being able to present a threat, hang the point in someone's face, allows for this moment in which you can decide the fight is over.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think that would be the ultimate goal to achieve.
Yeah.
Either within a competitive session or within sparring, create a situation in which you make your training partner or opponent aware of the fact that they have just lost the fight.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Well, we are at the end of our little interview, and thanks for watching to my subscribers, and thank you, Arto, for coming here and doing the training and the sparring and our little interview.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope to return.
Thank you very much, and I hope so, and it will happen for sure. You know.
Looking forward.
Very good. Thank you very much, guys, and well, see you next time.